Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. I'm Bethany. This is Sparky. This is episode 106. And who is this? Who have I got?
Hazel.
Hazel. This is Hazel.
It's Hazel, right? Hazel.
Oh, he, she, he. It's a boy. He's gender neutral. It's fine. Okay, so
all dogs are gender neutral.
We're going to jump right into the questions that we got. We got quite a few off of our videos.
We're not late at all.
We're not late. It's 1:04. We're not late at all. But if any of you guys have questions at home, just put them in the comment section. We will get to them today. I promise. Okay. All right. I'm gonna start with. Let's see. So this was off of a video when we were talking about crate training for puppies. And this Connie says, do you keep them in their cage? Crate. Cage is a little harsh, Connie. Come on.
We even call it house. We're user friendly.
We're very soft down here in SoCal. Do you keep them in their house the other time after the potty, or just while you're training them? You put party, but we think you meant potty, so we're gonna go with potty.
I would have gone party. Sounds like a party.
So here's the thing. Honestly, for me, it really depends on the puppy and the puppy's issues and the relationship with the family. For me, when I let them out to potty, then comes training, some playtime, maybe some supervised separation. Maybe they're tethered to me. They're being watched, basically. Like, they're not just running around the house being free. And then they go through another cycle of going back into their crate. That's how we do it for most dogs. If you hear us say otherwise, that is because we're dealing with a family that's having severe anxiety issues or crate anxiety issues, or potty issues. And if that's the case, if they don't potty, they have to go back into their house. It's just different. We really try to tailor it to everybody's individual situation as best as we can.
The standard skeleton that we use is in the crate, come out for potty, goes potty, wait for them to exhaust the bladder, reward at the end of that exhaustion of the bladder, bring them inside, break free time up into 3 parts, walk and play, training, supervised separation. At the end of that, water and food, and then back to the crate. That's like the standard skeleton that everyone follows. But then if you hear anything else, we deviate because we're trying to fill in the holes of the issues people are having. Like their dog will go outside, come in, and then poop on their carpet, things like that.
Yes, exactly.
So we're just trying to cater it to certain people's schedule. And if you have any issues yourself, we can do that too. What does it say?
Someone says such a good puppy.
So good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Hazel's good. She's he is
gender neutral.
I know, but it doesn't matter, right? You're just adorable. Is a little older too, so a little bit easier. A little bit easier than some of our young feisty ones. Okay. So next is, this is one I wanted to take to you. So the 5 things that we never do as dog trainers with a puppy was a really popular video that
got torn apart by some
but that's why it was popular.
That's why.
Because we
actually like contradictory.
We got positive and negative feedback. But anyway, that was a video that we did. And Koya says, if my dog is going to be my service dog, which makes me think puppy, because remember, we don't want to answer questions unless the puppies are under 2 years old or 2 years and under. Hey, Hazel, settle down.
So we're going to make the assumption that
it's a puppy.
It is under 2 years old.
Yeah, we're going to make that assumption. So if my puppy is going to be my service dog, is it okay if they sleep with me?
No.
Since they need to be close to me often. That's your first of all, I want you guys to understand that he has a big history in this. Can you take Hazel?
He's done.
He is being feisty.
He's gonna kick your mic if you.
Oh.
Nice.
We're good. We're good. Very professional.
We're professionals here.
Very professional here.
Okay, so Beth and I both have businesses aside from Puppy Caddy. Mine is a service animal training business for DPT, deep pressure therapy, and hers is behavioral modification training. And we also work for Puppy Academy. So a little bit under my niche, which is service animal training. I have a very strict program that involves a lot of obedience work in young puppies, which means sleeping in the crate, not in the bed, getting really intense obedience work. Like I should say this, getting basic obedience work when they hit about 6 months of age, I kick that up to advanced obedience work.
Which means advanced obedience work means learning inhibitions, basically. Yeah.
And then when they get about 10 months old, I do a lot of real life acclimation, meaning taking them out to like restaurants and going to different places where I train them to be super calm. And you basically proof their energy in a lot of different environments. Let me backtrack now. When you have a young puppy that sleeps in the bed with you, they become a dog who needs a service human for the service animal.
Ooh,
you like that
one? That was good.
Drop my
man.
All right, so what I mean by that is when a dog sleeps in the bed with you, they learn to need you more than you need them. So they stop being able to work for you because you have to work for them. It's something I'm working with a woman right now. She did her own training for a service animal for the first 4 months. And by the way, some dogs do need to spend a lot of time with their handlers to acclimate to them by scent more than anything. Like if you're doing blind seeing eye dog, obviously that's not the same thing. That's where you send them to a facility. But if you're doing DPT, which is deep pressure therapy, they actually rely on their nose to smell biochemical changes in your body. Come closer because your mics are all turned away now.
Well, sorry. Perfect. There you go.
They need to smell biochemical change in your body in order to be able to sense when they need to perform their role. So it's not about them cuddling. Yeah, it's freaking amazing. It's so rad. So they need to spend a ton of time with you, not as an affectionate creature, but as a working animal for you and with you to develop the bond and the relationship to then be able to get to an age where they can start depicting different smells that you release. But if they're always in this emotional state with you, they never get a chance to differentiate the different smells that you release because it's always affectionate. It's always emotional.
Always soft.
Ooh, I like that word. That's great. It's soft.
Permissive. Everything is soft. Permissive. Everything is permissive. So it clouds the dog's ability to have better judgment. It does that in my behavioral world as well.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah. And what we're really talking about here is you got to think of brain development. Like a human is 21 to 25 years old for a full frontal contact. I can't even. Cortex. I can't talk today.
Context, yeah.
Frontal Wow. Anyway, the brain.
Bethany's pregnant.
The brain, yes. I have pregnancy brain, which is a real thing. By the way, it is so real. I was doing so good till my third.
I thought it was fake.
No, till my third trimester, I was doing so good with my focus, and it is now all gone. So I apologize, but you'll just just hang with me for a second.
Bethany, we depend on your.
I know. That's because you're not focused. That was really good though. That's an excellent explanation.
Thank you, madam.
Which I very rarely compliment him. So you better take this.
I get 1 in 50. And I hold them close. They live right here.
So anyway, for humans, that's like the age range. It's through adolescence. For a puppy, you can look at that. They can hear you. I swear, they can hear you.
They couldn't.
For a puppy, you're looking at between the time they're born and about 2 years old, roughly. Now, I'm not saying that he couldn't mature more quickly, and you could have him in the bed with you a little sooner than that. But definitely, that first 18 months is critical in development skills of of molding an independent, confident, service-driven dog. I mean, that's your best bet. Now that you've already slept with your puppy and trying to undo that, I'm not going to say that that's going to be too easy. If it's not easy, then you've already created an emotional dependency that has nothing to do with what you want him for a service dog, unfortunately.
I have a service dog. That's how I got into the field. I trained my dog who does seizure alert and assist. She'll actually alert me 30 seconds up to 5 minutes before I have a seizure, and she will lay on my chest when I have them. So I have a full connection with how this is. Not only do I train them, I have my own. And after about a year, I let her sleep in bed with me. She did it for about 5 years. And after about 5 years of her sleeping in bed with me, I started noticing that I had less of a connection as a service animal and more of an emotional connection. And I remember one day one of my friends came over, and not only did she leave my side, she left my side and left the room with him when he went to go say hi to my girlfriend at the time. And at that moment, I knew that my dog stopped being a service animal for me when she could no longer perform her duties as a service animal who stays next to my side in every other situation. From that moment, she stopped sleeping in the bed. She got a complete revamp on all of her basic, advanced, and existence work obedience outside. I completely changed everything I did with her. Yeah. I'm a professional dog trainer who's been doing this almost 13 years. And I had to completely change what I did. So
you had to adjust.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Yep.
We all need to adjust, and we all need to adapt to the dog that we have. I say that because I'm with you. I understand what you're thinking. Yeah. I thought it too, and I made a mistake. And it took me honestly probably about 1.5 years to change her thought process to get her back in the role of working for me.
Okay. All right, cool. So that was a lot of information. I hope that doesn't just help Koya, but I hope that helps a lot of people out there. We're getting more and more service dog questions for various reasons. So will you scroll down just a little so I can see that first one? Okay. Dr. D Wellness says, you mentioned restaurant acclimation. Should we hold off on bringing Goose to restaurants until she's 10 months old? So this person is someone that we know, or he knows really well. I know the dog. And they're making Goose a service dog. The question is, should they wait till the dog is older, an older adolescent dog, before taking them to restaurants? I'm going to have you answer this first.
Goose is only about 3 days off of her fear stage. If we're going off of our lesson from last week, I would say that it's too early simply because you need to pull back and go back to your basics, because she did go through a decently intense fear stage. I know it was short-lived, but because it was so recent, I do believe that you should pull back on it. I think you need to do another 2 to 4 months of building up obedience, not going necessarily in restaurants, but sitting in a bench outside of a busy restaurant.
Or cafe that doesn't have waiters and waitresses.
Yep, because you need to basically be able to take away all these outside distractions and control your entire environment. Without being able to control your environment, you never truly can advocate for her space in the way that she needs, especially if she is, oh, and by the way, guys, she's a small, young puppy still, very young. So she is coming into her own as an adolescent probably in the next month or two, and we want to make sure that we can give her the space she needs and also be able to build her confidence that no one's going to come up to her. She's not expected to do anything that's advanced yet. And once we can build up that understanding, that's when you can start building up to it. Just to give you an idea, when I start doing outside acclimation for dogs for service, I don't do that until at least 6 to 8 months old. And that's like with the dog that's shown me a lot of confidence with their advanced obedience. And ideally, I do when they're about 10 months old.
Like they're pretty balanced is what they're saying. Yeah.
And to give you an idea, I worked with the service animal on Fiesta Hermosa over the weekend, and he is spectacular. He is a phenomenal service animal. He's perfect in my eyes. And then I took him to Fiesta Hermosa, and he lost it. He completely lost it. I mouthed it. I didn't say it. That's better. It's not better. And when I took him down there, he got freaked out. It took us about 15 minutes of walking 2 blocks away from Fiesta Hermosa. I know I mentioned it because I know you went to Fiesta Hermosa and Goose had a similar reaction at Fiesta Hermosa. It took me about 10 minutes to realize that this wasn't going to work. A perfect service animal as far as I was concerned, couldn't handle it. 2 blocks away, worked him for 45 minutes away from Fiesta Hermosa, and we just barely scratched the surface of being able to settle him down and get a block away from Fiesta Hermosa without him just losing his cool and going back into freak out mode. This is a dog that's been working with me for almost 3 months in a service animal capacity, and it still couldn't handle it.
Do you think a lot of noise desensitization at this point would be beneficial for that dog, or do you think it's too late?
I think it would work, but I think you're going to have to do it in a sensitive way.
Take time.
It's going to take probably 2 to 4 months of adding in some louder noises. To give you an idea, in our facility, we do 10 to 15 minutes of desensitization time, which is playing loud, obnoxious garbage truck sounds, crowds, cars honking on the freeway, things like that, to acclimate dogs to it. You're doing that on your daily routine by going to Hermosa and then staying a block away from Hermosa, putting her in a downstay by your feet while sitting on a bench. And when she starts getting overstimulated, I call it head on a swivel. It's like PTSD for a dog. Standing up, walking away, working them through it. It's what we call proofing an environment, working them through it. And when she's kind of just like
brain work,
trotting along again,
it's brain
targeting
work.
The brain, not just the body. Go back to your bench, have her sit down, and you might even get a little bit more time out of her. The best thing I can tell you is don't have an expectation. Go at the speed of Goose. Because when you expect her to be better at one thing, or you expect her to do better at something, it's not going to help her.
Something that I would really like you to try if you're not doing it already, anybody out there with a dog that struggles with anxiety or fear, especially if you're wanting to turn a puppy. Are you reading while I'm talking?
Yeah, because she wrote something else too.
Okay, well, just they can't hear you if you repeat it, so just wait a second. So, because I also want to make sure you agree with this for Goose specifically, but anybody out there is start working in the house on a kitchen mat. I like kitchen mats because they don't hold as much, nasty stuff as bath mats, and you can roll it up. So start teaching your dog to target a kitchen mat-like place and then put it in your car. Start taking it places. So that bench that he mentioned, the cafe, things like that, put that on the ground and teach your puppy to target that and regularly and calmly reward them throughout sitting with food for targeting that mat and just existing. That is a huge game changer in any dog dealing with anxiety or fear. And if you're working with a puppy, it's just a great way to bridge that gap. They're so visual because they're so boundary oriented, animals are, and it's just a really great tool to use. Do you agree with that with Goose?
I agree, but grab the rough wear mat that you and I talked about because it's antimicrobial.
Ooh, fancy. Okay. I'm just reading this and then I'm going to sit back and read it to everybody.
Josh was talking about the leaning forward thing.
I know, that's why I'm going to sit back and then read it. We're getting our editing people picking on me for leaning forward.
They're not picking on me.
Okay, so Goose's mom also wants to know, what about morning cuddles? For Goose specifically?
How early in the morning?
It's like 5:30, I think it says.
Is it the first thing we do in the morning, or is it after doing some training? Because I think for a service animal, that's important.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do morning cuddles until I've done training first, and I reward the training with morning cuddles.
But that's no fun because you're in bed and you're like, you just do a quick potty and you're in bed and coffee and you're in pajamas and you just invite them out on the bed with you. And
no one ever said training a service animal is fun. That's why we get paid big bucks for it. You're basically taking the role of a trainer. So I only say this because
quickly.
There is no quickly with me.
You
are taking the role of a trainer. So you have to almost treat yourself as a trainer in this situation. Trainers give minimal affection and maximize the amount of training time. Trainers start their day with the training routine and then they reward them with a little bit of affection, similar to what an owner would give the dog in order to help them for when they go back to their home with their owner. You have to change your perspective a little bit. If you want to have a service animal, you need to be a service animal trainer, or you need to hire a service animal trainer. But it sounds like you're doing a majority of the work. You just got to change up how you look at her. She's not a pet. She's an animal who's going to work for you one day, and you got to treat her as that. And
because of that, I have to say this because of the current culture out there, because of what he just said, you are, in my opinion, and I think in Sparky's opinion too, you are going to have the closest, most deep relationship with this dog than you would ever have with a pet. Now, there's some exceptions maybe with like sport dog, and I could go into things like that, people who are really, really active in other ways with their dog. But the average Western pet, you are, the fact that you're saying, oh, it's not a pet, it's a working dog, is a bit of a trigger nowadays. And so looking at it like you will have the deepest connection, it is so worth the reward to put off those cuddles until a better time of day. It's going to be so worth it. Okay.
My dog is my soulmate. I can say that without a doubt. No matter what I do, where I am, she will always see me as the most important thing in the world to her. And sorry, Kimberly, she is the most important thing to me as well. She's got another 4 years probably before she passes, and she'll be that till the day she dies. The bond and the relationship that forms from training your own service animal and putting forth this maximum effort in the beginning, it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain. And you seem like the person to me that would want that from her. So I think you can do it. I think it's just going to be really hard in the beginning.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not on social media like Bethany is, so I don't have the whole PC thing.
Jenna, I'm just going to answer this really quick. You're going to keep your mouth shut. Jenna says, my girl is 2 years old and she hasn't had any training. Is it too late to train her? No. I don't specialize in this. I would if there was more availability, but I get tons of elderly dogs that have behavioral issues, and I change their lives. Like, no joke, their owners' lives. And I'm talking about elderly dogs.
She's about 8 to 10 years old, mature dogs.
2 years old, piece of cake, get on it today. Okay.
It's actually probably easier than a puppy.
In some ways, accountability is a little easier. Okay, I'm going to jump to this real quick. Do this. This was a video. We said, do this to calm down your overexcited puppy. Kelly says, where did you get that harness? She's probably talking about the Puppia harnesses, right? The Puppia, Puppia.
We love them because they're cheap and they're really good still. Good quality for a really good price.
And they're comfortable. Okay.
The mesh.
Kelly Lynn also says, and you can get it on Amazon. Thank you, Kimberly. She made me a note. I'm having a heck of a time finding the appropriate size. Any advice that you've tried and known, thankful to heal? Yeah, Amazon you can return usually pretty easily, so that'd be a good thing.
When I buy anything from Amazon, I get the size I think it is, the size above, and the size below. And whichever one I don't use, I return.
If you're one of those people that can remember to return. I'm horrible at it.
I had 12 items I returned yesterday on my lunch.
Wow, you're on it.
No, I was 2 weeks late.
Caleb. Okay, Caleb says, how can I get my 6-month-old rescue puppy to calm down when people come over? Well, I'm going to assume that it's excitement based. That's what I'm going to assume. But honestly, even if it was barking or a little bit of territorialness at that adolescent age, you kind of handle it the same way. My question would be, is your puppy on a leash? Because without a leash, you have nothing. So if you haven't done some basic leash handling skills in the house, not just outside where they're on a harness and potentially doing this and checking things out and getting a piece of food here and there. I mean, like, there is a connection between you and your dog that has been taught through the leash, whether it's harness, slip leash, whatever it might be. You got to get that dog on a leash in the house. The next thing I would teach is place. Place is just, it's so easy, guys. Like, it's just this nice visual target. It's a dog bed or a cot tends to be easier with new dogs. And you teach your puppy to go to place. It'll take you a week. And then you can practice when a package is delivered and they knock or they ring the doorbell and your dog runs to the door. Puppy, come, place, good, food. He steps off, you learn blocking. You just go on YouTube, how to teach my puppy place. You'll get 1,000 videos on how to do it.
Or check out our online school where we offer all of that
and more.
So shameless.
Shameless plug. And teach that to begin with, just for food, for the easy stuff. And then when you actually have someone come over, you're like, wait a minute, just a second. Text them like, give me a minute, and calm your dog down first. Every step forward, or maybe I should do it that way. Every step forward you take in the process and your puppy is excited, that's what you're rewarding. So when they just knock or ring the doorbell and you've texted them and been like, hey, you're gonna have to wait for a minute, I'm gonna calm my puppy down. When you come in, no touch, no talk, no eye contact until he's settled, and then I'll release him to say hi. Like, give them the down low. Tell him exactly what to do. Can you help me train my puppy? Most people love to do that.
You gotta recruit their help.
Yeah, you gotta recruit them. And so anyway, you calm your puppy down first, leash, food, and maybe they can't stay in place yet. So maybe they do need to walk with you. Nope.
Okay.
Maybe they need to walk with you to the door and you have them sit and you've practiced some blocking at thresholds so they know not to burst out the door. So you block them, have them settle, or you go ahead and start back tying them in place, like a little back tie to flat collar to place while you answer the door. You have to play with those, but you're not done yet. Now they've seen the person and you go, hi, how's it going? And your puppy's like, yippee, oh, so excited. You have to shift your focus. Calm down your puppy. Again, a little leash pressure, body language, settle down. Everybody calm down. Then invite your guest in. Then the guest ignores them until you've worked with your puppy to settle them down. I like, once the guest is inside and I'm like, hey, put your stuff over there. Just sit down on the couch for a minute. Let me calm my puppy down. Just ignore her. Then I'm going to work with my puppy a little bit. Just some let's go work, place, sit down, whatever my puppy knows. Just calmly with food, 6 months old with food. And once my puppy settles a little bit, then they can say hi on leash, because I can control the excitement. When it gets too high, let's go. I can remove the puppy and refocus on their obedience, get their focus back on me. Hopefully this makes sense to you. I know it sounds like a lot of work, and it is, because you're asking me literally one of the hardest things, you know, to be able to do with your puppy. It's advanced. It is advanced, right?
You're going to have that guest that comes over that says, I'm actually not here for you, I'm here for the puppy. So I want that jumping. You either send them home or the dog goes to the crate.
Yes, exactly. You're going to set that boundary for sure.
That's a big one.
All right, I'm going to do this one, then we'll finish up with Tracy. So this was, let's see, a video, I think. Cody says, is it too late to start? I have a 1-year-old, 125-pound dog that pulls me.
What's the name of the video, or what's the name of the comment?
I don't know.
His comment was off of this comment.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. See, I don't know. All right, anyway, Cody says, when is it too late to start? My mom never trained him. Just wondering if it's even possible, because I've tried these methods and it just doesn't seem to work. 1-year-old, 125-pound dog. Cody, you need a training tool of some sort. You could do a slip leash and turn it into a power loop. That has, for me, in my experience, has an easier learning curve. And just go on YouTube and look up power loop. That's the way to do it. Or start working on some other training tools. You don't have any leverage. That's why you could build food leverage, but then I'd be knocking a 125-pound dog back. So I don't know if that's really the way to go. I'd say that do a little bit of a deep dive rabbit hole on YouTube and look up some different training tool options. And and start with that. Start with place and let's go. Super simple. Do your threshold, your front door threshold boundary, but teach blocking. Get back, get out of my space, big dude. Bump into him, make him start to respect your space more. Little things like this will go a long way without needing, you know, a perfect stay, sit down. Start with something, a boundary like place, stopping at all thresholds, front and back door, and let's go work. Just easy movement work. But you need more leverage to get over the hump, I think. So I would go with training tool.
I agree, but do not move on. We definitely have to add to that.
Well, we've only got a few minutes, so hurry.
We're adding to it. All right. So
you're adding to it. I'm done.
Gentle leader, easy walk, and slip lead. Those are the ones that are and by the way, slip lead as what she mentioned, the loop and then over the nose. Those are tools that you probably could introduce yourself with a simple YouTube video. Any tools more advanced than that, star marks, prongs, e-collars, you need to hire a professional balanced dog trainer to help you introduce that.
I have excellent videos on prong collar that should.
I still think they should hire a professional. There's a lot of really bad data on these tools because people have bad experiences with them. I find in my experience, in my profession, that when people have a bad experience, it's because they introduce them themselves and they're tools that are a little bit more intense for the dog. So if you're gonna use any of the three I mentioned, any of the advanced ones, you should hire a private dog trainer.
I have excellent do-it-yourself videos. But anyway, so
if you have a bad experience, so don't go online and post bad stuff about it. That's all I'm saying.
So, this was the same person. Okay, so we could go on to this one. Tracy. 10-week-old lab. So, 10-week-old lab whose favorite hobby is biting, severe puppy biting. Tracy's question, though, is how do I redirect this 10-week-old, everybody, context is so important, 10-week-old puppy biter.
That's a baby.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's relationship, personally. I have a couple questions. I know you won't be able to answer them, but how often are you holding this puppy? How often are you training this puppy? Are you giving it a ton of affection? Does it know that you're serious when you are training? Does it respect the boundaries that you're setting? Are you crate training them? So what does the downtime look like? Yeah, like the rest time? You need a good schedule of them being crated. Puppies that age need to sleep about 18 to 20 hours a day. When they hit a little bit older, it can go down to about 16 to 20 hours a day. But that young little baby, that's like a That's like an 8-month-old infant.
Typically we say, screaming, crying. Typically we say that if you are petting a puppy that young and they're just biting the bejesus out of you, I do think some of it can be genetic, like a feisty puppy.
Yeah, we do have Rocky, that's true.
but we always just say, this isn't just meant like focused towards you meanly or anything, but we always just say, stop petting your puppy, stop holding your puppy. That might not be the only time the puppy's doing it, of course.
We will give you context of why.
Yes, so it's like that puppy doesn't want to be pet if that's one of the ways that it's biting you. It needs to have some more mental stimulation, and a lot of mental stimulation comes from teaching inhibitions. You should already be teaching a 10-week-old puppy how to wait for food bowl, wait to come out of thresholds, sit, to have gear put on like a harness with food work and things like that. They should see your hands more as like a training tool of food, like relationship that he mentioned.
Pouch on your hip at all times
yes.
when that dog is not in the crate.
Yes, training pouch is what he means, like a bait pouch with food in it. I would definitely do that with a puppy that's chewing me up. There's a lot here to unpack, but we don't really redirect a lot of puppy biting out of frustration unless it's really temperamental to certain situations. So if it's every time I'm just trying to do handling, like touching a foot, and then I'm getting the puppy biting, I'm really using food more to build up tolerance to being handled. If it's when I pull out a toy, maybe you need a bigger toy. They're targeting your hand. They might need just a good block and a no, even at 10 weeks old. It's very, very possible. Or they're not getting enough, to me, it's like not enough mental stimulation during the day. But if you have a really driven puppy, we see this with a lot of Aussies, actually, a lot of Border Collies, then you can redirect to a toy or a bone, but it's in their alone time. Like they get supervised separation in a pen or a sectioned off area of the house. So it might be a redirection in the sense of, I can't work with you right now because you're in a very bitey mood, and so I'm just going to give you this to chew on for a little while, and I'll come back in 15 and we'll try to do some food work again. You know what I mean? So when I think redirection, that's where my head is, not as a way of training your puppy longer term to stop biting, because it sounds like you need other elements throughout the day to change in order to help this puppy. So
this is no longer a shameless plug. I really do believe it will help you.
This is a good one. Yeah,
our online school is catered to puppies of that age who are having similar issues to that, because we don't just have a program that we put out. We have a workshop. We have a whole library with puppy biting, puppy socialization, handling, and grooming. All those videos are going to help you, and all the things she just mentioned of that mental stimulation. We have a structured class 1 all the way up to a certain point to where it literally teaches you all the basics, how to acclimate them to going on place, how to do recon.
And he's a good age for it. It's just the puppyacademy.com and click on the online section.
Banner on top.
If it sounds like something you might be interested in. Really quick, Laura asked a question about her 14-week-old Aussie. Holds her Pyrenees Aussie mix. Holds her potty for hours and hours. She's been training on the 3-hour schedule. She seldomly has urgency to go potty. Occasional accidents. Do I just keep offering her the opportunity every 15 to 20 minutes? No, your puppy can clearly hold it longer. I would go ahead and go to 3.5 hours and then do 15 minutes. After the 3.5 hour mark, if she doesn't go, 15 minutes, 15.
So just to clarify, you're upping the amount of crate time you're going to do? Okay,
yep.
Cool.
Upping crate time and maybe outside time. Maybe I have to plan it with my puppy that's kind of driving me crazy, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do outside training with you in case you potty.
We've had quite a few dogs that are like that. You literally have to move them around and get that brain thinking before they go. Oh, it stimulates the bladder, stimulates the need to go.
Yeah. So that's what I would try. I would up the crate time a little bit, and also maybe just plan on doing a 15-minute training session with them outdoors as well, to kind of get them moving, and then back in crate 15 minutes if they don't go, and really monitor their water. Like really pay attention to how much water they're getting and how long after they're getting that water do they need to pee. We had one more over here. I'm going to see if it's short.
Looks like we have a few. Will you scroll up, Kimberly? Make sure we're reading the right one.
She pointed to it. Oh, do you have recommendations for puppy joint pain for my Bernese Mountain Dog? A really, really high quality CBD oil, collagen, bone broth. Anything else?
If you're going to do CBD oil, go to Innovet, Innovet. They're the only, thank you. That's why Josh hates us.
Yeah.
Innovet, Innovet. They're actually a company based out of Hermosa. And the owner of it, his name is Matt. He's spectacular. And he's done so much research to try to bring the levels for dogs down to what it is for humans. So humans is FDA regulated. Dog CBD is not. And he has brought it as close to humanly possible to FDA regulation for a human as he can. So the measurements, the amount they have to take for the dog, it's actually like on brand, it's on point. Spectacular company. And also stabilization exercises. So they actually, I know this seems crazy, this seems so like SoCal, but it works. When you get those half balls, you know, the little air balls, they stabilization balls, yeah. And you could get a couple of those to work on the back hips and reward calmly for him standing on them and stabilization exercises. There's other stuff out there too. I mean, there's a whole rabbit hole of crazy holistic stuff you can do, and some of the crazy works really well, just like it does for people. Hydrotherapy as well.
Hydrotherapy.
If you guys are anywhere close to us, there's a West Hollywood, well, actually Healthy Pets covers it. A couple different insurances cover the basically prevents any long-term damage. So Healthy Pets covers it if you have good insurance for your dog. If you live close to this area, West Hollywood has a really, really, really great hydrotherapy facility.
And one more thing for Summer, she asked if we do a schedule. We do a puppy schedule. And so if you'd like to know what that schedule is, just direct message us on Instagram, and we are sending out our beginner puppy schedule for free. All right?
She's asking what our live schedule is.
Oh, live schedule. The live schedule is, what is it? It's 12 p.m. Help me, 1 p.m.
I was just watching.
I was just
waiting. I was just watching.
1 to 1:30.
1 to 1:30. We were late today. 1 to 1:30 every Wednesday Pacific Standard Time.
And our online school does 1 from 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday.
That's the online school. That's not this. Bye.
That's how you get them to come to the online school.
Oh my gosh. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next week.